All right, so let's dive in. What is dopamine? Dopamine's a neurotransmitter. So neurotransmitters are basically these chemicals that help conduct that neurological signal from the pre to a postsynaptic neuron. So a presynaptic neuron looks like this, your postsynaptic neuron looks like this, and you have the synaptic cleft, and you have the neurotransmitters that kind of hang out in the middle that help connect that signal from one part of the nerve to the other part of the nerve. So it's really important because if we have inadequate levels of neurotransmitters, that can affect neurological impulses going from one part of the nervous system to the other. And dopamine is kind of that bridge. It really helps connect, for the nervous system. And so when you have very low dopamine issues, functionally low, obviously we have pathological low dopamine. That's going to be like Parkinson's disease. And that's because the substantia nigra, the part of the midbrain that produces dopamine, gets destroyed. There's some data like what's destroying it. There's some autoimmune connection. There's some toxicity connection for sure. The literature definitely supports that. We're looking at it more functionally, right? What are the big functional symptoms that we're going to see with dopamine problems? So we're going to see low motivation, right? Poor enthusiasm. We're going to see lack of focus. We're going to see being impulsive, right? Being overly emotional. It's that feel-good neurotransmitter. So it's going to allow you to feel that connection, that love. You get a DM on your Instagram or your Facebook, someone likes your post, that's a little dopamine hit. So concentration, focus, and then of course a big one that kind of derails a lot of things, cravings. So sugar cravings, sweet cravings, and it can even go higher to things like drugs, right? Cocaine, any kind of stimulant, that's going to definitely be impacted by your low dopamine levels. You're talking functionally low. We have the Parkinson's is more pathological. That's where they're going to give you like Cinemed or levodopa. We're talking about using nutrients to bump up dopamine levels. And so even with dopamine, I'll use like tyrosine or L-Dopa. I have a couple of products that I use, and L-Dopa is actually interesting, right? So dopamine in itself, typically comes from the L-tyrosine amino acid. We have stronger ones where we'll use like L-Dopa from like Mucuna purines or velvet bean extract. The cool thing is your skin, the tyrosine or the melanin in your skin is actually made from tyrosine too. So dopamine also has a connection to your skin, which is kind of interesting. So skin health can even play a role with dopamine as well. And so when we look at that, dopamine gets impacted by stress. Dopamine will get funneled downstream to adrenaline and noradrenaline when we have chronic stress. I'll pull up an article on that to kind of show it. And so it can play, a big role with stress. It's kind of like progesterone and estrogen, right? Progesterone gets depleted downstream when a female is chronically stressed. And when that happens, that can create more estrogen dominance.